Hello, welcome back to another video. I'm Diana here. We are doing What If Deku Was Like Spider-Man Part 7. We last left off where Deku had just beaten Tamaki in the semifinals of the UA Sports Festival, going into the final round, which will be Deku versus MJ. So yeah, let's get into it. Before the fight, happened, you could say, if of course it will be the next day, not the same day as usual. So during that day, Deku chooses his time to actually, how could you say, stay away from MJ as much as possible. Not as if like he's angry and nothing like that, just something so that they can both have their head clear of any drama or anything between them. So when they're ready to fight no matter what problems. No matter what has happened in the day before. So that nothing can bother them, if you know what I mean. So yeah. Deku, he starts his training out, where he's just chilling. You know what I'm saying? Well, not chilling, just doing regular, jogs around the park. He's thinking of whether or not he's going to use his suit or, use his old-fashioned suit. So, now let's go to MJ's part. On MJ's part, she's actually making up a suit that is perfectly suited to go against Spider-Man, or Izuku, as you could say. She knows the perks of Izuku's power. She knows his strength and his weaknesses. So, she might be able to, make a robot that's able to defeat him. So, Izuku trains with Katsuki a bit, but Katsuki's still a bit hurt after losing his eyes and damaging multiple of his own bones. Deku turns out to be a fighter, so it was easier for him to heal than a regular human would, if you know what I mean. So, yeah. Katsuki tells Izuku that he, actually doesn't want to get an artificial eye. He thinks the missing eye actually suits him. And it turns out the missing eye was actually his bad eye, so it's not very much of a, how could I say, lost. You know what I'm saying? It makes him look cooler, and besides, it's not like it was his good eye. So yeah, Katsuki actually takes the whole, missing eye thing pretty good. Izuku just takes it as a joke and says, "Hey, bro, you might actually need another eye in order to defeat me." Katsuki says, "Hey, I could defeat you with no eyes, idiot." As he makes some explosions out of his hand, then he then he kind of is like stunned at me. He's like, "Oh, I really am tired. I didn't get all the sleep tonight, I guess," says Bakugo. Deku says, "Well, you should get some rest. Besides, there's some training. There's something I have to do." Izuku puts on his, his hero suit from the beginning of the school year. And, not the one with the hoodie, not that. And he just goes around the streets, saving people. You know what I mean? He goes around saving people. My bad about that, but yeah. Izuku is basically, going patrol around the city, using it as a basic form of training. Anything. He goes to the dangerous part of the city where most of the dangers happen, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Izuku spends the rest of his night pretty much helping out, and it's time for him to go to sleep. Izuku says, "Wasn't the best training. Wasn't too hard. But I think I'm ready for tomorrow's fight." Deku smiles and then he stares up into the sky and then goes to sleep. So, the next day is ready and it's time for the fight for MJ versus Spider-Man. Or Izuku Midoriya. Izuku gets on the stage and so does MJ, and MJ then asks, Deku, she asks, "How long were you out last night?" "I sold it on the cameras I installed." Deku's like, "I think about a few hours. But it's not time to talk about that. It's time for me to kick your butt, Mary Jane. My beautiful friend." MJ blushes. He says, "Say what you want. Flattering won't stop me from beating you." Zuko's like, "It was worth a shot. But I didn't plan on beating you with that. I just planned on beating you with a plain old skill." "Start!" yells Midnight. a web straight to the foot of MJ's, pulled and then pulled by Izuku. It's getting pulled toward him, and as he's about to slam her from the top of the air, the web breaks. She says, "I knew that would happen, so I installed heaters on my suit to break the web you make." Izuku laughs. Says, "There's no defeating me." MJ laughs. She says, "There's no way you'll beat me." Deku's like, "You really did plan on that, huh?" And she's like, "You should have used the suit I gave you. It would actually help you out a bit. And it seems like you're using your old web shooters. Kind of thought you'd do that, so this trick works perfectly." Izuku says, "Listen, I don't need any tools to defeat you." And Deku says, to prove that, he grabs his his what's called web launchers or whatever you could say, and breaks them and smashes them on the ground. Deku says, "I'll beat you with my own fist." Deku then jumps up in the air behind MJ and kicks her in the back of the head, slamming her body into the ground. He stomps on the back. He says, "Ooh, a little too harsh for you. Ain't that right, Mary Jane, my love?" Mary Jane laughs. She says, "That was corny," and jumps up and not jumps up, but like flat, like shoots a blast at his chest on her way up. She gets up and starts really smacking up Deku really badly until Deku gets tired and he starts to get angry. He grabs the next punch of MJ and slams her to the ground. He then stomps on her chest one more time, but this time putting weight to it. This time he says, "Listen, I'm not here for a long fight." Picks her up by the neck and throws her out of the ring. But, of course, MJ's with her tech is able to fly away and make it back. MJ says, "Listen, idiot. I'm, how can I say, in my prime at the moment. I think I could actually maintain my #1 hero spots." Izuku laughs. He says, "Behind me." He jumps up and goes for a spinning kick, but MJ catches it in the nick of the moment. She's holding her shin pretty much, and then he swings her out of the ring. She then says, "There's no way you'll be able to escape." Izuku then says, "I am a spider, aren't I?" And with his on his suit, he spread out his arms, and there's like wings, web wings. Yeah, he added that to his hoodie part, and he flies like he uses the air around him to float up into the air and back into the ring. MJ says, "I thought no technology." Izuku laughs. He says, "These were made actually at the beginning of the fight, just in with the web launchers I had earlier." He smiles. "Sometimes you gotta think before you do." And he jumps forward, landing like a whole entire like tomahawk kick on MJ's chest, like boom, like that. Nothing, no difficulty whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? But MJ takes it as if it was nothing. She walks to Izuku and punches him in his face. But like the punch didn't fully, and as Izuku used the spider sense to catch it, and like he caught it, but like his hand is touching his like face. It was that close of a call. He then moves her arm, kind of like the thing he did with Bucky Barnes. Yeah, like that. Deku then says, "Damn, this arm is strong." And she smashes it, and MJ's like, "Oh!" And she holds her hand. She's like, my hand. I think it's broken." Deku was, bit harsh, eh? And kicks her in the chest. Zuko says, "Just 'cause you're my love, you could say, whatever, doesn't mean I won't do my best." He then jumps up, going for a daring kick to the face, but is dodged in a nick of the moment. MJ laughs. She says, "You're in my trap." A blast from her chest is blown straight in Izuku's chest, and he blasts like he flies back. He takes it like really harshly. He's like, "Oh, damn, what a kick does she have?" Deku then jumps up in the air and grabs MJ by like her arm grabs MJ by her arm, and then squeezes as hard as possible and slams her again. He injures her arm and her fist, so her right arm is pretty much useless. She only has her left arm. Besides the squeeze from when Deku squeezed her fist, it broke her not only her hand but also the tech in that hand, so she can't blast any energy blast. You might as well just say it's useless. This is when MJ says, "I knew this would happen of some sort." And then she says her AR bulk up. And then different parts of armor comes to her body and goes over her arm and her chest down. Her whole body pretty much. And it's not as big as Hulkbuster, but it's like getting near there. So yeah. She walks over to she walks over to Izuku, and Izuku goes for another daring punch, but the punch seems to do nothing. MJ laughs. She says, "The more strength you put into the suit, just like that Nomu back then. The more strength you put into the suit with those hits, the more strength I come back with." She flicks her finger at the face of Izuku, and it hurt just like that punch that Izuku landed on her suit. Izuku laughs. She says, "You're like that. So if I put enough punches in you, you die." Boom, 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 boom. He jumps up and punching her chest over, face, over, arm, over again, all over her freaking body pretty much. He's punching her, kicking her, all of that. But she says, that won't work. She kind of like Black Panther. You know how Black Panther is, you know, how his suit pretty much like blows up with the energy you give it? Yeah, that's what she's doing. She's pretty much doing that. So yeah, it blew up, and all that impacts from those punches ended up going directly to Spider-Man, and Spider-Man can barely stand. He barely gets up on his 2 feet, and all over his body is bleeding. His goggles and his hoodie and his mask fall off, and his clothes are ripped up. He walks towards slowly, as MJ is practically not hurt at all. Izuku then says, "Each machine has a weakness." And then he, with his hand as strong as possible, he stabs through, not through the chest, on her chest part, but like hits it really hard, and it deactivates her entire suit, causing her suit to fall and deteriorate, you could say. It's basically just MJ alone. But before Izuku, goes for a punch to MJ then puts her hand out. She says, "Then I'll use this one." Putting like a gauntlet over her left foot, her left fist, like Iron Man would do, you know what I'm saying? Out of the air, coming out of nowhere, whatever you could say. She punches Izuku right in the face, putting him on the ground. But before his body would land, he puts his hands on the ground before him, kind of like in a push-up position, and pushes himself back up. He jumps up into the air and kicks MJ in his face. He then says, "Give up, MJ. There's no way you're winning." She then, Gauntlet comes for her foot, and she kicks Izuku in his stomach. And Izuku's taking these hits like it's nothing. And then he pushes her out of the ring. But MJ laughs. She says, "You think I'm done?" And then, before that, her whole entire Iron Man suit, you could say, it's just like it's pretty much Iron Man suit, just like one of the older ones, not the big giant fat one, but like an older Iron Man suit. Covers her body, and makes it just in the nick of time, and hits Izuku hard in his chest. Izuku slides onto the other side of the ring, and MJ flies towards them. But Izuku smiles. He says, "My plan. You won't be able to stop the momentum." She goes for an attack to Izuku while he's on the ground, but Izuku spreads out his hand and his feet and flips her over onto the outside of the ring, ending up with the fight with the win to Izuku Midoriya of the UA Sports Festival final round. Izuku smiles with glee as he's won, but he passes out. 2 days later, Izuku wakes up and he notices that he's winning, and it's about time for what's called, how can I say, hero training. You know where they go to heroes and stuff. It's about time for it in about a week, so Izuku only has a week to prepare. He's been out for 2 days, and not much things has changed. It's just Izuku's been named as the strongest kid in high school. In UA high school, yeah. The strongest kid in the school. Second strongest MJ, third strongest is between third strongest would be Tamaki and Neshide. And then fourth strongest will be Mirio and Bakugo. And then fourth strongest could also go to that one dude who is really garbage. But yeah. No, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean. And also Todoroki too. So yeah, fourth is Todoroki. One flame dude and Mirio. And Bakugo. And then third place goes to Tamaki and Neji while first is Izuku and second is MJ for the UA Sports Festival. So Izuku has 1 week to prepare for his whole training arc pretty much with the Avengers. So yeah, he's gonna be training with the Avengers. So on that day Izuku wakes up, Bakugo heads over there. So does MJ. MJ smiles. She says, "It was a great fight." She smiles. She says, "I still should have won." Izuku's like, "It doesn't matter. It's not like you haven't gotten anything good out of it. Turns out Tony Stark wants to actually take you in." She says, "Tony Stark? That's my idol." Izuku smiles. He says, MJ says, "Wait, how do you know that?" Izuku says, "Well, I heard him. My powers, my senses are all heightened. I heard him when he was in his chair. He said so." Izuku smiles as it's hard for him to walk because he's still exhausted, even after a 2-day nap. But yeah. Katsuki did get a lot of offers as well, so he chose to actually go to, Endeavor's Hero Study. I know it's not like the original, where, Bakugo goes to Best Genius. It's not like the original where Bakugo goes to Best Genius, so he actually decides to go with Endeavor, who is a grade above, Best Genius, you could say. So yeah, MJ goes to Tony Stark, and Spider-Man's going to be with Tony Stark and the rest of the Avengers as well. But MJ's trip is a bit shorter, as the Avengers trip is longer than usual. So Spider-Man's going to show, in the regular trip would be about 2-3 days. And then, the Avengers trip, the winter lasts an entire week. So, yeah. Deku goes home, he tells his mom about the whole thing with, going on a hero study. And, yada, yada. Yeah, just regular talking. They talk. She says goodbye as it's the day he goes, and when he lands there, he sees Captain America standing in the front of the rest of the Avengers, because we all know Captain America is the captain of the Avengers. He's not the strongest though. Low key, I ain't even gonna cap to y'all, bro. Captain America, low key, a bozo compared to the rest. Like Iron Man stronger. I don't care what you guys say. Shut up. I don't care. I'm not talking about MCU. I'm talking about comics, all that. Spider-Man, he the strongest Avenger, but like he not in this show. That Spider-Man's not in the show. The Spider-Man in this verse would be Izuku Midori. So yeah. Basically, just so you guys know, if you win this UA Sports Festival, you are recommended and taken in by the Avengers, right? And they're gonna go and look around for you and take you up as what's called. Take you as a possibility to become, an Avenger when you become a real hero. So yeah, not only do you have the perks of, being trained by them, but you also have the perk for in the future to be considered to be a future Avenger. So yeah, so one day if a spot is open, you might just become an Avenger. So yeah, Deku is a big fan of all the Avengers together, as of course his favorite Avenger also is Iron Man. So yeah. Iron Man says, "Well, Izuku, the last two, the rest of the week, I'll be with you. But this first few days, I will be with MJ. Ain't that your girlfriend, right? Zuko smiles. He says, yeah. And then MJ comes from behind Zuko and smacks him. She says, no, you're not. And then walks away. And she says, come on, Tony Stark. Train me. Tony Stark's like, yep, this girl's an a-hole just like me. He smiles. As he walks over there, he says, see ya, Izuku. And Izuku says, see ya. And then Captain America then asks, see, hey kid, who would you want to train you first? Izuku's like, Spider-Man not here. Definitely Thor. I want to see if I can actually lift that hammer of his. Thor says, hey kid, if you can lift the hammer, you can have Asgard. And on that note, that's where we're going to end off the video. So yeah, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you'll be updating my daily uploads. And so link down in the description down below to subscribe to Mark Spade. And yeah, peace out.